press corps. Happy sunny Monday. Welcome sa regular press briefing ni Presidential Spokesperson Harry Roque. Good morning, sir.
Magandang umaga, Pilipinas. Magandang umaga po sa inyo, ladies and gentlemen of the Malacanang Press Corps. Mabuting balita po sa Lunes, nagkaroon na po ng kumpirmasyon na nakapasok na sa merkado ang mas murang NFA rice. Nasa merkado na po ang kinalap ng ating NFA na bigas, 250,000 metric tons galing po sa Vietnam at sa Thailand, at ngayon po ay bumibenta na from 38 to 36 pesos sa merkado. Mas marami pa pong mabuting balita. Yung Parañaque Integrated Terminal Exchange is now 91.54 complete and is expected to be accessible to the public by July of this year. According to the DOTR, the terminal will help decongest traffic at EDSA, Baclaran, and TAF by reducing the number of provincial buses traversing these areas. It can accommodate 200,000 passengers daily with ease and hassle-free experience, as it is equipped with online bus ticketing system, Wi-Fi, and charging stations. More good news, the Philippines will soon open its green gateway to the world. The new Bohol Panglao International Airport is already 87.2% completed as of 31 May 2018. It will be the first ever eco airport built in the country. According to the DOTR, up to 2 million passengers can be served by the airport's terminal in its opening year. With a span of 13,337 square meters, the new airport will initially have 2,500-meter runway, which can facilitate even 7 aircrafts at a time. This includes long-range commercial planes for additional international routes. Originally po, itong airport is supposed to be completed by 2021. Pinabilisan po ito ni Secretary Dugade under the leadership of Presidente Duterte. Sa ilalim po ng airport ay ang wastewater treatment, so wala na pong mga resorts sa Panglao na magdi-discharge ng diretso sa karagatan ng kanilang wastewater. And finally, I'd like to assure the nation that the President has always given top priority to peace talks with both the Muslim insurgents and the communist insurgents, and he has not given up on the process at all. However, any peace agreements, especially now with the CPP-NPA, must be all-inclusive and must pass the test of both legal and political scrutiny. The delay, thus, in the talks with the CPP-NPA is indispensable if we are to have an agreement that will pass these tests. It would help if Mr. Joma Sison would allow the government to be the one to brief the nation on any future developments. Questions, please.
MPC questions? Inandalo?
Sir, hello. Hi, sir. Just to be clear about it, does the President want the peace talks to be held here in the Philippines and not be facilitated by Norway?
Paulit-ulit po niya sinasabi yan, that the peace talks must be held here in the Philippines. Kaya nga po ang last declaration niya, it should be held here this July instead of this month, originally scheduled for the 24th. Although I do not know if it was originally scheduled really for the 24th because that information came from Joma Sison. I never announced that date. That is why the term that I use is the continuation of the talks will be in July as declared by the President. No? I do not feel bound by anything that Mr. Sison says. But the President is dead serious about it. He has already asked the Department of Justice to file the necessary motions in court to set free individuals who will be participating in the talks. And I think that is the best evidence of good faith on the part of the government. Of course, there's information that these individuals cannot be located anymore, even if they did not leave the country for Oslo, Norway. But nonetheless, the President says he will give the process a chance, which is what I declared as of the last press briefing that we had.
Sir, in that case, will there be any official communication sent to the Norwegian government since they are the ones facilitating the talks in Norway? Will it be officially be moved here? Because I understand there should be a formal process for that.
Well, whatever process needs to be undertaken will be undertaken. But the President has emphasized that this is a talk between Filipinos, should be held in the Philippines. Hindi naman po kinakailangan pa na mga ibang bayan para makipag-usap kapayapaan lamang. No? dahil tayo naman po ay lahat ay Pilipino at paulit-ulit pong ginagarantiyahan ng ating Pangulo yung seguridad ni Joma Sison kung siya po'y uuwi at paulit-ulit yung sinasabi, sagot pa niya lahat ng gastos nila habang sila'y naririto sa Pilipinas. At sinabi na rin niya na kung sa sakali na walang mangyari sa usaping ito, siya mismo mag-escort kay Joma Sison papunta sa airport para siya'y makaalis muli ng bansa.
Sir,
Pero kung wala nga mangyayari, ang sabi niya, wag na siyang babalik.
Who will be facilitating the talks here then?
We have a panel and they have the authority to fix the logistics, no, of
No
the talks.
third party.
Wala na po
will be
siguro.
tapped?
Nandito na naman tayo sa Pilipinas. Pero, you know, any party who wants to help and who's been involved in the process can help, no? Pero ang punto lang ni Presidente, hindi niya na maintindihan kung bakit kinakailangan pa sa ibang bansa, no, ang pag-uusap.
Lastly, sir, ano po ang position natin dun sa stand-down agreement signed between the two panels, a copy of which basically na-release po ng NDF over the weekend? Is this a standing agreement?
Ay, nako, hindi po ako makakakomento dyan dahil yan na naman, NDF man na nag-release, no? I cannot comment on any document not released officially by the Philippine government. Kaya nga po tahimik na tahimik ako noong last week despite all the pronouncements of Joma Sison. I cannot comment on anything that the CPPA, NPA, NDF says or releases because I take my cue, of course, from the government.
Even if the document that they released bear the signature of the government officials concerned with it?
I
Please
do not
cross-
know po. I've not seen the document. And as far as I'm concerned, we still have to subject it to authentication and vetting, which is our practice in the Office of the Presidential Spokesperson.
So as far as you're concerned, as of now, sir, right now, wala pong stand order agreement.
Wala pong stand order agreement.
Stand down rather.
Stand down agreement. And anyway, wala pa naman pong resumption of peace talks. I'm sure kung magkakaroon po ng resumption of peace talks, that will be considered. No? Pero at the same time, meron pong mga demands din ang ating presidente. Tigil pangongolekta ng revolutionary taxes. Tigil talagang putukan. Honest to goodness, tigil putukan. No? Kaya nga po nag-offer na siya na lahat ng gastos nila po pwede munang sagutin ng gobyerno habang nakikipag-usap tayo. Pati yung mga gastos ng mga lumalaban po, no, sa hanay ng CPP-NPA, nag-offer na siya. O sige, papuntahin natin sa isang lugar, lahat ng kinakailangan nila, gobyerno na magbibigay para matigil na lang itong koleksyon ng revolutionary taxes habang tayo po ay nakikipag-usap ng kapayapaan.
Thank you, sir.
Follow-up question? Darrell?
Sir, on the venue of the peace talks, Joma Sison said that if the administration will dictate the venue, it will mean the end of the peace talks. Any reaction to this?
That would be sad, but I'm sure that statement will not be conclusive kung ano man ang magiging outcome ng usapin. I'm hopeful that with the sincerity shown by the government, venue should not matter.
Sir, another question. Sir, the CPP is questioning the sincerity of the government because of the delay in the resumption. The CPP said that yung delay daw po is to pave way for an all-out military offensive.
Absolutely without basis po. Alam nyo naman kung anong aktibidades ng Hukbong Sandatahan ngayon. Ngayon po, busy ang Hukbong Sandatahan dahil nagkaroon na naman ng putukan dyan po sa Lanao del Sur. No? So, wala naman po tayong naririnig din ng putukan na directed against the CPP-NPA. So, sa akin po, hinay-hinay po ang mga public declaration sa parte ng CPP-NDF. Ang sabi nga po sa akin ni Secretary Duresa, no, ang mga ginagawang usapin sa panig ng CPP-NDF, dapat siguro sa partido munang mga nakikipag-usap at hindi inisir sa publiko. So isa po yan siguro sa hihingin natin sa CPP-NDF. Pwede sila mag-address ng kanilang katropa siguro, no? Pero let's keep matters being discussed in the peace talks for the ears of the negotiators for the time being.
Follow-up? Joseph Morong?
Sir, yung kanina po sa opening niyo, sabi niyo you will appreciate if the NDF will wait for the government to brief the people about the development. No?
Yes.
Do you find offense in the release of the documents by Chairman Sison?
Not offense, but we find it somehow irregular that the NDF has taken it has taken upon itself the role of informing the public what has been or what has not been agreed upon. No? I think out of deference to the government, no, they should await government's announcements and should not preempt government in making these announcements.
As things stand, those documents, sir, ano yung status na? Are they still valid or you can disregard all those documents?
They're
that
all
you
being
released?
reviewed by the president, is all I can say. And of course, all the authorized negotiators representing the Philippine government do so as authorized representatives of the president. And it is always within the powers of the president to review what has or has not been agreed upon by his agents. He also has to determine if some of the provisions entered into by them, although not conceding that they have in fact entered into any specific provision as of now, no, are pursuant to the authority granted to them by the president.
Sir, in the last joint conference between the AFP and the PNP, is it true that that Secretary Duresa or the government, even the president, was prevailed upon by the AFP to maybe hold it off?
I can tell you unequivocally that that was not the case. It was the president alone who wanted to review certain matters in connection with the peace talks. And as you know, the president has been consisting that the venue should be in the Philippines. And he has, as I said earlier, given assurance that he will provide for the sustenance of the NPA, including their fighters, while peace talks are ongoing.
Sir, just one last question on the facilitator. Are we getting Norway out, Netherlands, no? Out of the picture, sir? As a third party
Di ba
facilitator?
Norway yun, hindi
Nor-
Netherlands?
Norway,
I think it was Norway, no?
Norway or
Oo.
yeah. I'm not going there. But but are we easing them out of the picture?
No, well, let's just say that as far as the president is concerned, venue matters. He does not understand why we should continue talking in Norway. Pare-pareho naman tayong Pilipino, pwede pag-usapan dito na yan sa Pilipinas. Bakit kinakailangan lumayo pa? Gastos pa yan, no? Damdaming papadala pa doon sa Norway. Gamitin na lang natin yung perang yun para sustentuhan yung mga lumalabang NPA habang nagkakaroon tayo ng ongoing peace talks.
Other issue, Dexter Ganibe.
Sec, good morning.
Good morning.
Sa issue naman po ng panlamantian, binanggit niyo po kanina na available na sa market yung NFA na price na
Apo,
import.
kumpirmado na po yan.
Ano po ang expectations ng palasyo sa pagdating ng NFA at ito'y available na sa mga merkado dito sa Metro Manila?
Well, inaasahan po natin na tuluyang bababa pa ang presyo. No? Ngayon po, available na nga yung from 38 pesos to 36 pesos at ito po isang ayon sa price monitoring na kinukondak ng DTI at saka ng Department of Agriculture. So baka patuloy pa po ang pababa niyan dahil yung pagtaas naman, bahagi ng dahilan doon, nagpanik doon sa perception na naubusan daw ng bigas na hindi naman naintindihan ng marami. Maraming commercial rice ang naubos lang NFA rice. No? So ngayong mas marami na pong NFA rice, inaasahan namin lalo pang bababa ang presyo ng bigas.
Ibig po bang sabihin nito na nag-concede ang palasyo doon sa binabanggit dati ng ilang opisyal ng NFA na kailangan talaga mag-import at bakit pinadelay pa ito kaya nagkaroon ng pagtaas ang presyo ng mga bigas?
Lilinawin ko po, no, ang importante po ay maiwasan yung pangyayari ng nakalipas na hindi po bumili ng bigas noong panahon ng pag-aani. Si Secretary Jokno po has been firm even in the last cabinet meeting that it was gross incompetence for NFA not to have purchased rice during harvest time to ensure na meron silang stock. Ang punto po ng mga economic planners, miski po itaas natin ng kakaunti o taasin na natin ng mas mataas talaga ang pagbibili ng bigas dito sa Pilipinas, kapag bumili tayo ng mas mataas sa panahon ng ani, ang magbebenepisyo po gamit ang pera ng taong bayan ay mga Pilipinong mga magsasaka. Ngayon tayo po'y kumakalap sa iba, binibigay lang po natin yung pera sa mga dayuhang magsasaka. At alam niyo po, kada 250 metric tons, 6 billion po ang ilagastos natin dyan at hindi na po yan makakabalik sa atin. Talagang parang subsidy din po yan na binigay natin sa mga dayuhang mga magsasaka. So ang sagot ko po, hindi po natin justify ang policy of importation. Ang kinakailangan pa rin gawin ng NFA ang kanilang katungkulan, bumili kapag maraming ani at stockpile yan para kapag wala na pong ani, magkakaroon nga po ng mas murang bigas para sa ating mga kababayan.
Last on my part, Secretary. Ibig po bang sabihin yan sa pronouncement po ninyo ay kailangan na maging flexible ang presyo ng pagbili ng NFA ng bigas dahil tali po sila dun sa presyo na tinatakda ng kanilang charter na hindi sila pwedeng magtaas ng presyo kapag binibili nila yung mga produkto ng ating mga magsasaka.
Wala po naman pong presyo na nakasulat sa batas mismo, no? Kaya nga po sabi ni Presidente, bilhin kung magkano kinakailangan bilhin galing sa lokal, sa mga Pilipino mga magsasaka para sila na makinabang sa kaban ng taong bayan. Bagamat ang talagang overall strategy ng gobyerno is to resort to tarification. Hayaan ang pumasok yung mga bigas na yan na kinakalap, is-subject na lang to tariff. Para sa ganun, talagang makita natin ang law of supply and demand, no, pagdating sa determinasyon ng presyo.
Thank you, sir.
May follow-up about bigas. Henry Uri.
Good morning, Secretary. Tatlong issue ho. Una, yung panayam ko kanina kay Ginoong Gadsari Jaafar, binabanggit niya na ipinangako daw sa kanila ng Pangulo na bago mag-SONA ay pipirmahan na at maaprubahan na yung BBL. Ito ho ba'y kinukumpirma ng palasyo?
Well, ang bibigyan ko ng kumpirmasyon ay yung pangako ng liderato ng Senado at ng Kamara na bago mag-BBL, pwede nang pirmahan ng Presidente yung, bago mag-SONA, pwede nang pirmahan ni Presidente yung isinabatas na BBL dahil sila po ay magkakaroon ng bicameral committee meetings bago po magkaroon ng SONA. So yun po ang bibigyan ko ng kumpirmasyon. Whether or not it will happen, hindi ko po mabibigyan ng kumpirmasyon, but I can certainly confirm that both chamber agreed that they will work double time para po magkaroon ng isang final reconciled version ng BBL.
Ang sabi ni Ginoong Jaafar, mismong ang Pangulo ang nakausap niya at nangako sa kanya na isasama ito sa SONA, bago mag-SONA, permado na yung BBL.
Well, yan po talaga kasi yung pangako ng mga liderato ng Kamara at ng Senado.
Pangalawa ho, gaano kaseryoso ang Pangulo at nabibigyan at pinapayagang mag-armas yung mga barangay chairman considering the fact na marami umanong mga barangay chairman ang sabit sa illegal na droga. Hindi ho ba ito mas magiging mapanganib?
Well, unang-una po, lininaw na po ng DILG na may legal na basihan po yan. Yung isang section, kung di ako nagkakamali, 387 ata ng Local Government Code gives barangay officials, no, the privilege to own a handgun, no. Pero subject po 'yan doon sa requirements na hinihingi pa rin ng AFP at saka ng PNP para for anyone to have a gun, no. Now, number 2, yan po ay pinag-aaralan pa rin ni Presidente. Hindi pa po na-i-implement ni Presidente yan. At ikukonsidera po ni Presidente siyempre yung kabilang aspeto naman, no? The other side of the equation, and that is, pag naarmasan yung mga narco-list na mga barangay officials, siyempre, lalo sila magiging mas kapangyarihan. Pero tingin ko naman, meron din naman discretion ang ating PNP kung kanino magbibigay ng gun license at saka permit to carry. Hindi naman siguro lahat. Kung meron mga bad record yan, mabibigyan.
So, doon sa mga barangay chairman na nanonood nakikinig, hindi pa ho ito pinal?
Hindi pa po pinal, pinag-aaralan pa po yan ng ating Presidente.
Okay. Pangatlong issue, Secretary, sabi ni... sabi ho ni... Yeah,
Wait lang. May
last.
follow-up question sa...
Teka muna, kaklarify ko
Barangay Art.
Yung sabi ng staff ko na mention ko raw, baka lang ako ma-misquote. Ang sabi ko, yung money to be spent in negotiations in Norway is better spent providing for the needs of the NPA while peace talks are ongoing. That's what I meant. Baka ako ma-misquote. Okay.
Okay. Sandali lang. Doon sa barangay, may follow-up question? Okay, Henry.
Okay. Hingan ko lang kayo ng reaction, Secretary. Sabi ni Senator Trillanes dun sa pagpipresenta ninyo ng mga mangingisda from Masinloc, Zambales. Pinapalala lang daw ninyo yung sitwasyon at itong si Roque ay sinabi niya na sinalanan niya ang kaluluwa niya sa demonyo. Anong inyong reaksyon doon?
Well, sinisiguro ko po sa buong taong bayan, hindi ko po isasanla ang aking kaluluwa kay Senator Antonio Trillanes.
Hindi, sabi ho niya, sinanla na raw ninyo ang kaluluwa niya. Ang kaluluwa ninyo sa demonyo.
Kaya nga po, hindi ko sasanla ang kaluluwa ko kay Senator Trillanes.
Okay. Ayun na lang.
Henry, okay na?
Thank you, salamat.
MPC questions? May follow-up about Trillanes or other issue? Rosalie Cos.
Hi sir, good morning po. Sir, meron po ba tayong update dun sa panibagong naiulat na Tanimbala incident? Nakarating na po yung report kay Pangulo.
Ay, nakarating na po. Pati po yung full report, meron na akong kopya. Ang pagkakaiba po ngayon, hindi siya talaga tanimbala. Kasi ang tanimbala, pag nahanapan ng baril, dahilan na yan para hindi makaalis. At yung mga kurap, kikikila na para sila ay makaalis. Dahil syempre gusto nung tao na makaalis, lalong-lalo na kung OFW. So ito po, nakuha na ng bala pero pinaalis din. At after investigation, it appears na may kapamilya pala talaga itong biyaherang ito na militar at meron pa atang kapatid na pulis din. No? At lumalabas na baka hindi sa kanya yung ginamit na maleta, baka minaiwan lang doon na bala. No? So hindi po namin kinukonsidera ito na tanimbala incident dahil hindi naman po siya naantala sa pag-alis. So ang nangyari lang po, kinumpiska yung bala at pinaalis din siya.
Okay, last question na tayo. Last to Joseph and Julie. Joseph?
So yung sa tambay lang, parang medyo nasa huli spree yung PNP 302 nung Saturday and then Sunday was like 97. Guidance lang, sir. And also for the public, no? Paano ba dapat talaga ginagawa yung ini-implement yung sinabi ni Pangulo na yung mga tambay dapat medyo pauwian?
Well, ang concern lang po talaga ng presidente natin, may mga ordinansa na dapat ipatupad. Bagamat wala na po ngayong batas laban sa tambay, may mga umiiral pa rin mga ordinansa. At ang sinasabi lang niya, patuparin natin ang mga ordinansa dahil importante rin na bantayan itong mga tambay para maiwasan din yung paggagawa ng krimen. So in other words, it's really police visibility, no? And trying to take steps, no? To ensure that the public knows that the police is present and that if they are engaged in any conspiracy to commit crimes, nandyan po ang ating kapulisan. Ang aming construction lang po dyan, that's really crime prevention through police visibility.
Sir, in an operational sense, kung halimbawa nasa labas ako ng bahay ko, wala kami pasok. Halimbawa, gabi, no? Umuwi ka ng bahay, lumabas ka ng bahay mo, if you may be talking to kapitbahay, should I be arrested?
Ay, hindi naman po siguro, no? So, depende rin niya kung ano yung ordinansa na umiiral kasi may mga ordinansa na nagbabawal sa mga kabataan na nasa labas, no? At meron pong desisyon na na-uphold yung mga ganyang ordinansa, no? May mga iba na hindi na-uphold, may mga iba na uphold. So depende talaga kung nasaan kayo, no? Pero I think yung kung hindi ka naman talaga identified dun sa komunidad na talagang walang ginagawa kundi tumambay lamang, wala kayo dapat ipangamba.
So sir, klaro, dapat may ordinance na sasabihin sa'yo yung police pagka-arrestuhin ka, di ba? Tama?
Oo. Dapat meron namang kahit pa paanong legal na basihan, either dahil alam ng police, meron silang personal knowledge na talaga itong taong ito ay talagang tambay at meron na siguro mga negative record, no? It's a case-to-case basis po kaya mahirap talagang magkomento, no? Pero gaya ng aking sinasabi, no? Marami na pong, at least alam ko may dalawang desisyon ang Korte Suprema. Sa isa, in-uphold ang ordinansa banning or imposing curfew on minors. Yung isa naman, in-uphold, no? Dahil may pagkakaiba naman, no? So it really depends on where you are.
Okay, last question. Julie?
Follow-up lang dun sa tambay. May mga concerns kasi that the anti-tambay directive may be used as an excuse for illegal detention or warrantless arrest. Over the weekend, there was a viral post of a netizen, a call center agent, who claimed that in Makati, in Kalayaan, Makati, he was picked up while waiting for his friend. Nalalabas sana sila. Dinampot sila, dinala sila ng presinto. As ang sabi sa kanila, basta sinabi ng presidente, batas na yan. So paano magiging guidance nun? Kasi this is a call center agent, hindi siya tambay. He's a productive member of society. What is preventing us from fearing na any one of us can be picked up in a similar manner?
Well, kasi po meron tayong established na mga mekanismo para protektahan ang karapatan ng kalayaan. Unang-una po, kapag kayo pag ang mamamayan ay naaresto at hindi naman kinasuhan, po pwedeng makasuhan ng kriminal for illegal detention yung ating kapulisan. No? Pangalawa, bilang remedy, no? Meron naman po tayong existing remedy na po pwedeng gamitin na mabilisan. No? Yung habeas corpus po, mabilisan yan. No? At saka meron pa tayong writ of amparo ngayon. No? So hindi po tayo nauubusan din ng legal remedies to deal with those who will act in excess of authority.
Pero sir, it really has to reach the point na an ordinary citizen must file a writ of amparo or habeas corpus.
Hindi naman po kasi I'm sure nangyari itong sinasabi mo pero I'm sure he was also released eventually and not charged. I'm surprised it happened in Makati because Makati has been rated as one of the safest cities in the world, no? Together with, if I'm not mistaken, Cebu. No? So sa akin po, institutionalized na po yan. Nandiyan ang Bill of Rights. Kung talagang walang basihan yan, nandiyan naman po ating mga hukuman.
You were right, sir. He was released. Pero kasi, as Ace said, the trauma cannot be reversed.
Well, if the trauma cannot be reversed, he can also file civil damages against the policeman.
Okay.
Okay.
Final questions? Chris Jose, sir, last question.
Sir, isa lang po. Sir, nagkaroon po ng sagupaan ng AFP at ang MAUTE sa Lanao del Sur. Ito po ba mga ganitong pagkilos na naman ng MAUTE kay ikaka-alarma ng public, especially po ng mga residente ng Lanao na might be mangyari sa kanila yung nangyari sa Marawi City, sir?
Well, ito po siguro nagpapatunay na talagang may kalaban pa tayo dyan sa Mindanao, kaya nga po dahilan na narariyan pa ang martial law. No? Pero hindi naman po dapat ikabahala ito dahil ang puwersa nila ay kakaunti na lang at tingin ko naman dahil nga sa martial law na umiiral, no? Mahihirapan din talaga magkaroon ng tangible gains ang ating mga kalaban. Bagamat, nakakaabala talaga na para may successor na tumatayong leader itong MAUTE at nagkaroon na naman sila ng capability para makipagputukan sa ating mga sundalo.
Assurance na lang po sa mga taga Lanao na yun po, safe sila at wala sila pong dapat na ipangamba.
Well, hindi po natin ma-assure na wala na tayong kalaban dyan sa Lanao del Sur, pero ma-assure ko po, handa naman po ang ating hukbong sandatahan para protektahan ang ating mga sibilyan dyan sa Lanao del Sur.
Sir, nag-request si Joseph Morong.
Yes, please.
Sir, would you care to comment on the Norwegia blunder of the PCO and Secretary Roy Logoda, sir?
Well, let ye who has not erred cast the first stone. This may not be the first, but come on, let's give them flack. Sa akin lang, taong gobyerno lang po yan, sana po talaga mas pataasin pa ang kanilang spell check dahil meron namang word program na spell checker. Pero I'm sure po that they will learn again from this experience in the same way that they have learned from the experience of the past. Pero talagang mahirap po talaga, I guess, no, kung ikaw ay professional na manunulat, mas mataas talaga ang standards at naintindihan naman natin ang frustration ng taong bayan. But I can assure you na siguro naman po, they will learn from this mistake again. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Malacanang Press Corps.
I will be in Cotabato tomorrow, so we will have an out-of-town press briefing
Okay.
also at 11 o'clock.
Okay, thank you, Presidential
Thank you.
Spokesperson Harry Roque. Back to our main studio sa Radyo Pilipinas and People's Television Network.